Alright, welcome back. This is video 8 in the PowerPoint 2013 series. We're getting you ready for the PowerPoint 2013 certification test. My name is Adam Veazey, and I'm going to be your instructor for this video and other videos on my YouTube channel. What I have here is I've started with just a very basic slideshow. I have a title slide, and I have other slides labeled 1 through 10. And this gives us a total of 11 slides to work with. Alright, again, this isn't the best PowerPoint slideshow in the world, but this will introduce you to the concepts that I'm going to teach you. And again, I'm going for more concept driven when I teach anyway, rather than do all this extra flashbang stuff and everything like that. So the flashbang stuff kind of distracts from the actual concepts that you're supposed to be learning. Alright, so the first thing we're going to go over in this video is inserting section headers. And this has nothing to do with the content of your slides themselves. What this has to do with is this has to do with organizing your slides over in the thumbnail view or slide sorter view or something similar to that. So to insert a section header, what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on a slide and I'm going to click Add Section. And what it does is it adds a section called Untitled Section. Well, that title kind of stinks, so we're going to rename this. The way we are going to rename this is we are going to right-click on the section name, and rename section is the first option. See, even Microsoft knew that Untitled Section was so bad you'd want to rename it, so they made that the first option on the menu. We're going to call this Introduction. And we're going to click Rename. And it renames the introduction for me. You'll notice all of my slides are selected due to the red border around them. Let's say I have the title for the presentation, I have a bio about me, and what we're going to cover in this presentation. Yeah, I really don't like talking about myself a whole lot, but I'll do it. And slide 3. Slide 3 is where the real presentation is going to start. So I'm going to right click on this and I'm going to click Add Section. And again, Untitled Section, I can rename that. I'm going to call it Part 1. Alright, just to be kind of generic. You can name it whatever you want to name it. And then I can go a couple slides down further. Click on a slide, right click, Add Section, rename it Part 2. I can just press the Enter key instead of clicking Rename. Usually I like to click buttons though, because you never really know kind of which buttons default sometimes. And I'm going to add a section, and this section is going to be entitled Goodbye. There we go. Now, the truly neat thing about these section headers is that you can now expand or collapse your sections. Here we go. I don't want to do that. Here we go. So you can collapse everything. You can work on just the part you want to work on, see just those slides. And you can see that, the section kind of makes sense. Maybe I need to reorganize this slide. You can get down to business, so to speak. So besides looking at a pool of 10, 11 slides, you can focus in on what you want to focus in on. You can remove sections just easy enough. If I expand that, actually what I have to do is you can't start with the first one for some reason. Remove section, and that just removes the section. Oh wait, it removed everything, didn't it? Ooh, we didn't want that. Undo. Go. Huh. Oh, that's right, it pumped them all up in the introduction. Look, it didn't delete my slides, it put them all up in the introduction. Okay, so remove section. We kind of jumped the gun on that a little bit, but that's alright. And remove section. And there's all my slides back in the introduction. If I want to just remove the introduction, I can definitely do that. There we go. Now I have no section headers in my slideshow. If I want to modify the order of my slides, I can do so in thumbnail view by dragging and dropping my slides. And this is okay. It's really not great because you're limited in the amount of real estate you have visible to you at one point in time. Like here we go, I'll pull this down here. Now you would think, and one feature I'd like to see in PowerPoint is where you can right click on a slide and you can say move up or move down maybe. Me personally, I'm not a big fan of drag and drop. I think drag and drop is error prone. You can cut a slide and then you can paste it. And it pastes it below the slide you have selected. You can definitely do that. Feel free to do that. Another thing you can do is you can go to Slide Sorter View. If you go to the View tab on the Affluent ribbon and click on Slide Sorter, you now have all your slides available to you. If you have more slides than will fit on the screen, you can always zoom out using the Zoom Out or Zoom In tool in the lower right-hand corner here. And I'm going to zoom back into 100% just to make things visible for this presentation. Now I can put my slides in order, again, by dragging, dropping, that type of thing. This might be a little easier to do than it is in the thumbnail view. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. Now they're all back in order. To get back to normal view, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on normal view in the View tab of my Affluent ribbon. Alright, aligning and grouping shapes is next on the list here. Let's insert some shapes. I'm going to insert a rectangle. Let's just use basic shapes for this. Okay. And I'm going to I want to insert another shape. Thank you very much. There we go. And I'm going to insert a triangle. Triangle is the simplest polygon you can have. Okay. Now I'm going to, just for the sake of argument so we can see what's going on, I'm going to make the triangle a contrasting color. I'm going to click Fill and I'm going to put blue. There we go. Now, let's say I want to align these shapes. I want to align the centers of these shapes for whatever reason. I can select both objects by just holding my left mouse button down, dragging around both objects. They're both selected. If you have a bunch of different objects on your slide and you just want to select particular objects, you can click on one object, hold the Shift key down on your keyboard, select the other object, or any other objects you might have. You can have 3, 4, 5, 10, doesn't matter. Alright. Then, what I want to do is I want to align these to where they're centered on each other. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to click the Format tab on my Affluent ribbon. Whenever you click on a shape, the Format tab comes up on your Affluent ribbon. You won't see it if you don't have any shapes selected. See, it goes away. And then when I select shapes, there we go, the Format tab comes up. I'm going to select Align and then Center. There we go. And those shapes are aligned on the center point of each shape. And they kind of move each shape. Format, Align, Center. And they kind of move each shape too. Now let's say I want to rescale these shapes. Let's say I'm taking a couple shapes and I'm making another shape out of it. Kind of like Lego blocks, right? You take a couple Lego blocks, make a bigger design out of it, things of that nature. Well, if I want to resize these things, what do I got to do? I got to resize the triangle and resize the rectangle here. No, it's not the most efficient way to do things. The most efficient way to perform this process is to group these shapes. The way I group these shapes is I select the shapes again. I'm going to go to Group, and then I'm going to select Group. And what this does is it kind of just makes one, I want to say, invisible shape that contains those two shapes. Alright, now this is really neat. Now I can move them as a group. I can resize them as a group. I can rotate them as a group if I wanted to. I can still click on the individual members of this group. For instance, I could change the fill color of the triangle to a green color. There we go. Well, that's about hideous. But anyway, I can send the triangle. Maybe I want the triangle to be on the bottom. Send to back. That's pretty cool, right? We'll bring it back to the front, though. Bring it to the front. There we go. All right. That little yellow thing right there controls. Maybe it's not exactly a, what is that, an isosceles triangle or something like that. I don't know, but it's still a triangle. All right. Let me undo that. I don't like lopsided triangles. Anyway, nothing but symmetry in my world. So we can group shapes. If there ever comes a time in which I want to ungroup these shapes, I click on the group of shapes, go to Group, and I select Ungroup. And these shapes are instantly atomized back to what they were. So I can move the triangle independently of the rectangle. I can rotate it, you know, and then I can regroup the shapes if I wish. There we go. And then I can still resize them. That's pretty cool, right? So if you try to do if you try to do aligning and stuff like that of shapes by yourself, it can get kind of tricky, or positioning shapes by yourself. I didn't want to do that. I had them both selected. Let me undo that. There we go. Let me just select just the triangles. Here we go. Alright. So you want to align these to a certain maybe point in your slide or something like that. And it's kind of hard to do things by eye. I've met very few people that can do things by eye. Those people that can have my utmost respect. So if I want some form of like grid lines or something like that on my slides, I can go to the View tab of the Affluent ribbon. I can check the box that says grid lines, and it splits up the slide into about 1-inch squares. Alright, now using this, I can drag my shapes to where they get in there. I can use the arrow keys, maybe do some finishing work on it, get it that last little bit there. And there we go. I can move them up a little bit. I can move it down. Maybe I want the point of my triangle to be on that grid line right there. There we go. If I put it a little more, does that work for me? Nope. Move it down one little more space. There we go. Maybe one more. Well, we don't need to be too precise with our example here. You get the general idea. I'm not the world's greatest artiste either, but I know PowerPoint. If I want to turn off these grid lines, I just go up, check the box that says grid lines. These grid lines will not show up if you print out your slides for a handout. They will not show up when you present your slideshow to an audience. So for instance, if I click slideshow, yeah, it tells me my video is garbage. That's alright. There we go. See, they do not show up. Press escape to get out of there. And it displays grid lines for every slide in my slideshow. So I don't have to turn on grid lines for every single slide of my slideshow. Alright, I hope this video has been informative for you. I look forward to doing lesson 9. It was fun doing this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and let me know how I'm doing. Thank you very much for watching my videos. I hope you had fun.